Welcome back. Now, the Independent Electoral Commission has this week released data from the Political Party Funding Act from the first quarter of the financial year. The data shows that billionaire Michiel Le Roux as well as Patrice Motsepe are the largest donors. Now, organisation My Vote Counts says there are loopholes in the Political Party Funding Act. Let's find out what those loopholes are from the organisation's political party funding researcher, Robyn Pasensie. Thank you very much, Robyn, for your time. So first question, obviously, what loopholes are you finding in this particular act? Not so long ago, South Africans were celebrating that it was passed into law.
Absolutely, and good afternoon, and thank you for having me on the show. And I think, let's just start by saying I don't think that the congratulations of the PPFA coming to effect was misplaced, but I do think that what we have been seeing, not only with this first quarter disclosure of the new financial year, but also last year, is that there are some weaknesses in the Act that hopefully once those are addressed, the Act will work completely in the way that we would want it to. And I'll just start with this quarter's disclosures. And you mentioned this in your introduction already. What we've seen is that, for example, with the donation to the ANC, in this quarter's disclosures, the ANC only received one donation. That donation was in the amount of 10 million rand from the company called Boto Commercial Enterprise. And initially, our investigations, when we looked into that, couldn't really find much information. But upon a little bit further investigation, we actually found that the company's sole director was Patrice Motsepe. So if we look back at the previous disclosures, you will see that through his two companies, Harmony Gold and African Rainbow Minerals, Patrice actually donated not only to the ANC, but in fact to many political parties. But the ANC received the most money from Patrice's companies, and now is also receiving a rather large cash injection of 10 million rand through this company, Boto Commercial Enterprises. What this seems to show is that I can have many companies, registered many companies, and with each company, make a donation to a political party. Remember, the upper limit is 15 million rand in a year from one donor to a political party. So I could theoretically, through each of these companies, donate the maximum amount of 15 million rand. And then I can also, as an individual, outside of my company, choose to also donate. And again, that upper limit of 15 million rand applies. We've seen something similar in the issue of Michiel Le Roux, who donated through Fynbos Equitate, and he's also a director at Fynbos Equitate, 15 million rand to the DA in the quarter that was currently under review. In previous quarters, donated 5 million rand. If he wanted to, as an individual, he could also donate millions of rands to the DA or any other political party that he chooses to. So what we have been seeing is that there are spaces in the Act where individuals seem to be able to circumvent those threshold amounts, and those are very key to the functioning of the Act.
And that's quite important, but I know that you're also looking for more information when it comes to the particular individuals or the particular companies, for instance. Who are the board members, who are the execs, etc.?
Absolutely, and that just goes to the point I made earlier. So if we look at Boto Commercial Enterprises, if you had in the published declarations, for example, if you already put up front company registration number, for example, who sits on board of directors or board of trustees, it'll be in the spirit of proactive disclosure, of access to information. We're not saying that you're necessarily doing anything wrong, but also we reserve the right to interrogate the information that we see. So you can't see, for example, that Patrice is the sole director of Boto if you were just to Google that. You actually do have to look up with the company registration number who is the director of this company, who sits on the board. And that would be so helpful if we could just see that up front.
And just very quickly, just explain to me how exactly would this full disclosure of information assist the electorate in making their decision when they go to the ballots?
I think what this basically boils down to is that it allows you to become a discerning voter, but also a discerning active participant in your democracy. So we're never making the argument that you can't have private donations or that private donations are in and of itself wrong. What we are saying is that you don't want to have a situation like we've seen with state capture, where certain individuals are able to exert this really undue influence over our politicians. So we need full disclosure upfront so that we can question and ask and say, you know what, actually, I don't like the fact that you are donating this money. I don't like that I seem to see my party or my politician making a certain set of decisions that seem to be linked to this money that you gave them. And
All
instead
right.
of placing my vote with you, I can put it somewhere else.
Yeah, some more information. Thank you so much for speaking to us here on eNCA. That was the political party funding researcher at My Vote Counts, Robyn Pasensie, speaking to us. Your headlines at the top.